Mr. Mayor, for temporary time.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we will have a public hearing. Mrs. Aguilar?
I will begin with roll call. Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore, Mayor Robert Uribe, Mayor Pro Tempore Mitch Lindemann,
Here.
Councilmember Margaret Morales,
Present.
Councilmember Donald Hewish,
Here.
Councilmember Ray Shelton, Councilmember Cesar Soto,
Here.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva, City Manager Doreen Watson, City Attorney Juan Pablo Flores,
Present.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore, for the record, Mayor Uribe and Council Members Ray Shelton and Jose Grijalva are excused, as well as City Manager Doreen Watson.
Thank you.
The purpose of the public hearing is to allow public participation and to listen to comments regarding the CAPER report.
We are now in the public hearing. Mrs. Aguilar, do we have any speaker requests?
We do not, Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Mayor Pro Tempore, make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good, how are you? I'm sure you put up with your wife, my dude. I don't know what you guys are doing in that office. I don't know. I have my wife, though. She's always with me.
Hey, Chris is doing good.
Yeah, it's like.
I think she'll give you the.
Even when you don't make the same.
I'd like to call this evening's meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and the communication.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for our lives here in our beautiful community of Douglas. We thank Thee for the beautiful weather we've been having. We're also grateful at this time of year, Father, for our wonderful veterans, and ask You to continue to bless them. Watch over them, especially those that are in uniform today, that they will be guided and directed and watched over. And they might return home to their families in safety. Bless their families also, that they will be comforted and have what they need. Father, we also ask a blessing upon our council members that are unable to attend with us today, that are traveling, and ask that please be with them and watch over and protect them. Father, we ask for Thy guidance this evening. We ask for blessings in our community for those that have cause to mourn, those that are ill, that Thy hand might be manifested in their lives. We humbly pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Item 5 is presentation of award.
Mr. Mayor, for confirm, may I begin with the roll call?
Yes, roll call.
Mayor Robert Uribe, Mayor Pro Tempore Mitch Lindemann,
Here.
Councilmember Margaret Morales,
Present.
Councilmember Donald Hewish,
Here.
Councilmember Ray Shelton, Councilmember Cesar Soto,
Here.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva. Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore, for the record, Councilmember Grijalva will be attending telephonically. Councilmember Grijalva,
Here,
please provide your password,
WD 613,
your location,
City of Yuma,
phone number,
520-255-5195.
are any other persons with you?
Yes, City Manager Jerome Watson.
For the record, City Manager Doreen Watson is also present with Councilmember Grijalva.
Thank you.
City Manager Doreen Watson. City Attorney Juan Pablo Flores.
Present.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore, Mayor Uribe and Councilmember Ray Shelton are both excused.
Thank you. Now we'll move to item number 5, presentation of award. Does Councilmember Grijalva have the background information.
Councilmember Grijalva, would you provide background information concerning the presentation of awards?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This award, I wanted to say a huge thank you to our IT department. During when we got struck by ransomware, they were working hard throughout the whole time. They even gave up their weekends to be at work so we could get our systems running, especially during the street fair. I mean, they could have been there with their families, but again, they took their time they gave up their time to dedicate it to the city and to our workers and also to our constituents, because without them we didn't have the payroll, we didn't have, we had to do everything manually. So it was a huge thank you to the whole IT department, Juan Camacho, Cinnamon Ward, Clarissa Cota, and Albert. So I wanted to thank them with a huge thank you, and again, this is the least that we can do for our employees for their hard work.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Oh.
One more.
Thank you. Item number 6, presentation update by APS Representative Judy Hayward concerning the reclamation project.
Hi, thank you very much for having me here today. Okay. My name is Judy Hayward. I work for Arizona Public Service, and I manage the environmental remediation program for ATS. I wanted to provide an update for you on the environmental project we have scheduled for next year. Last time I was here was in May, and that was to obtain your the access to the site and your permission to conduct remediation and enter it into the voluntary program at the State Department of Environmental Quality. So, just to refresh everybody's memory on what the site was, before there was gas and electricity, they made gas out of oil, and this was the turn of the century from 1905 to 1908. The corporate predecessor of APS and the Douglas Gas Corporation built a manufactured gas plant where they took this oil and made it into a gas, and that was used for lighting and heating in the town at the time. In 1932, we ceased operation, and we subsequently sold the property, and the city of Douglas obtained the property in 1987. The material that was generated by the gas process is a black material. It's environmentally impacted petroleum contaminated soil, and what was left at the site still remains there today. In 1996, APS came back and did an interim cleanup to remove anything that was on the surface, and with the intent of coming back to finish the project, and we're back now to finish that project. So in May, it, like I said, was here to obtain access, to the site and enter it into the voluntary program. So, we did obtain access from the other 2 property owners that are adjacent to the site. We entered the whole site with the other property into the voluntary program. It was accepted by the state in September. We had a work plan already ready to go. That was submitted to the state. They approved it, so we could do some additional sampling to see what was left at the site. That was approved also in September. We put a project fence in, and then I want to really thank the city for stepping up and removing the debris that was inside that area. That enabled us to do the sampling. Without that, we would not have been able to get our equipment in to do the sampling. So the city removed that debris. We put up the fence, and we completed our additional sampling last week, November 8th. That's just that's just a picture of the property as it looks right now. You can see there's all the debris is gone. We also put up some banners on the outside to announce what the site was and contact information in both English and Spanish. Like I said, the sampling was completed last week. We put in 3 monitor wells, groundwater monitoring wells, and did over 20 borings down to 20 to 50 feet to determine if there was any impact. We're just now getting that data back. We don't have it all back. But preliminary data looks like the impacts don't go deeper than 15 to 20 feet. So what are our next steps? We're going to take the data that we collected, evaluate it, and put it in a remedial action plan. That is submitted to the state for their review and approval. Once they approve it, then it goes to the public for public comment for 30 days. Once the public reviews it and we answer any questions or concerns they have, then the DEQ, the Department of Environmental Quality, will approve it, and then we can start on the project. We anticipate starting the field portion of the project in January to February of 2020, and we want to complete the remediation by September 2020, and then once we have completed the remediation and submitted the report to the department, we anticipate getting closure before the end of the year. So to date, community outreach, which is part of the voluntary program, the state requires us to reach out to the community and let them know what we're doing. So in addition to briefing the city, we have published a project newsletter. I have that back on the site if anybody's interested. We sent that out in August before we started the fencing. We installed the project fence and put a banner on it, and then we have prepared a project timeline, which is also in the back. That gives an outline of the whole entire project and the next phase of it. This is just a picture of the banner that goes on the fence. And once we start the remediation, there'll be more information put on a banner that will list the Department of Environmental Quality, their contact information. If we have any permits, like surface water pollution prevention permits, or any air permits that are needed, they will also be listed on the banner, and contact information for ATF. This is the timeline. It's just a graphic representation of how we got here from 1903 to 2019 and how we're going to finish in 2020. So when we get that data, we prepare a remedial plan. Our goal is to remediate the site that is to levels that are protective of human health and the environment, which is basically you clean it up to a residential soil cleanup level, so the site can be used for anything you desire it to use it for. So the only way to clean up the site is to excavate that material, and it will be excavated and hauled to a permitted landfill. The clean, verified clean soil, yes.
You say permitted landfill, where would that be?
It's in Marana.
Thank you.
The waste is considered an Arizona special waste, and it has to go to a landfill that will accept Arizona special waste. So once the soil is excavated, we collect confirmation samples. Once those are clean, then we backfill it with certified clean samples that we the contractor is required to submit additional samples every time we bring in a certain amount of soil, so we can assure that we're putting in clean soil. Once that is brought up to grade, then we'll finish it off as a gravelled back to the same grade we have, unless the city has another request for how they want the site to be finished. The DEQ will review, like I said, our report, and they'll provide regulatory oversight. They sometimes make site visits down to make sure things are going correctly, and then they will give us a closure letter that says you completed it, it meets all our standards, and you're good to go. And that's the APS contact information for the project. So if anybody has any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions, Mr. Hewish?
Yes, say, the timeline that you have on there, is that probably the worst case scenario timeline, and that could be condensed down depending on what you find, what the results are from your soil testing and your groundwater testing?
Right, it's an estimate, it's hopefully the worst case. With these sites, we have no as-built, we have no plans. All we know are what those samples, so we've taken a lot of samples, but with these sites, you know, you're drilling a 6-inch hole and you're taking a sample every 10 or 15 feet. You know, that soil sample, you're only taking like 5 grams that you're sending to the lab that analyzes it. So you're basing all your information on that one data point. So you take all those data points together and put them together, and it's our best estimate. But what I have found with these sites, you just never know until you start digging. Because you know, when we're drilling, we could have missed. You know, we have found pipelines that had residual oil in them that we had to remove. You never know. But that's our worst case scenario. So far, the data, like I said, is looking good, so hopefully it will be less.
So can I assume that your goal is to get it done as quickly as possible?
Yes.
But correctly?
Correct. Most important, not only correctly, but safely. Safety is number one. And when we're talking safety, we're talking not just worker safety, but the safety of the community. So we do air monitoring. The air is monitored while we're doing our excavation 24/7. We have handheld monitors. We have data collection systems where we take air samples and submit them. We have odor suppressants because this material can smell like mothballs. So we have an odor suppressant foam we use. We put a misting system on the fence outside that sprays a mist of water to capture any dust. So we want to make sure that we don't create a bigger hazard by cleaning it up than if we've left it in place.
One more question. Will Mr. Rosales be operating a backhoe or a front-end loader?
If he has a certification, I will get him on the back.
Because I need a picture of that.
I'll put that in the project.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Item 7, presentation discussion by Deputy City Manager Don Prince and Leisure Services Manager Jennifer Smith concerning the special events policy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the public. Don and I bring forward to you this agenda item to provide a short presentation on the city's special event process, which also serves to provide some clarity on its contents on the requirements as for special events. By way of background, our special event process is governed by Douglas Municipal Code Title 12. The most recent changes occurred during the August council meeting and became effective September. Essentially, what those changes are is they removed the city manager from the special event approval process and assigned the leisure services manager. They also adjusted some outdated fees in lieu of the minimum wage increase impact and added some other fees that were previously granted. The City of Douglas issues permits to any person or organization wishing to have an organized activity involving or having impact on city property, facilities. Examples include parks, streets, sidewalks, or what have you, or temporary use of city property. That would include bleachers and light generators. Any of these requires a special event permit. Our DMC code is similar to that of the other cities in the state, in which they require specific information. This includes your general basic information from the applicant, name, address, contact information, as well as the event information. In addition, the application requires two components: the indemnification waiver and a $1 million insurance policy naming the city as additional insured. These two components are both important to both the city and the applicant. The waiver itself attempts to remove legal liability from the city, and it's part of the application. So at the end of the application, they fill it out and they sign the waiver. The liability insurance covers financial responsibility. For a new applicant, that's usually the biggest challenge, is to fulfill that requirement. However, our staff has done a great job to ensuring that we provide options when they can't fulfill that requirement. For example, if an applicant already has liability insurance through their existing business, all they have to do is call their insurance agency and ask to be asked to add the city as additional insured on the certificate. And that fulfills that requirement. If not, if the applicant doesn't have any liability insurance, they can partner with cooperating agencies that can help fulfill this requirement. That's usually the most case for new applicants. Any applicant can also purchase a one-time temporary policy through various insurance agencies. Some of them call it a rider program or a TULIP. Or the applicant can seek an alternative to host a venue in a different area. In the past 2 years, the city has not denied any successful completed application that was submitted to us. However, we recently did have a challenge with one of the applications that were submitted for a parade entry this past Veterans Day. Permits are generally assigned to sports leagues, sports tournaments, parades, and other community events like the Turkey Trot, 5K runs, and car shows. The turnaround time for our approval process, we try to do it as quickly as possible. It can be a few days, and depending on the complexity of the event, if they're requesting a facility and resource, it can take up to several weeks. So before I open it up to discussion, I don't know if Don wants to add anything, but I do want to let council and the public know that our staff loves special events and we support them. They're great for economic development and for the quality of life of the community. So the requirements that we implement in our policies are important for both the city and the applicant's best interest. Any questions?
Questions from the council? Yes, Mr. Garcia.
If I may, so can you sum up briefly what triggers the necessity of a special event license?
So if they're using any of our parks to host an organized activity, and generally it's your sports leagues, Little League, AYSO, Turkey Trot uses our airport park, and they require resources as far as bleachers and trash cans. I'm trying to think of a few others. The car show that's at the 10th Street Park, our Railroad Pastoral Park, they have impact on the park itself, so it also requires a special event.
So downtown fairs like Ms. Pedregal just organized, that's a requirement also?
Yes, because it requests resources in terms of equipment, but also street closures. So street closures are also part of the special event process, because we have to provide additional manpower to close the streets and barricades and also include the police.
This is in the form of a suggestion. And not trying to circumvent any of the system that we have set up here, but I'm wondering if we could, through policy, somehow change that if it's a significant event, and what I mean by a significant event, one that would benefit the entire community, that really has no desire for profit or for anything else, type of business organization, that I'm wondering if the council would be able to, either through policy or individual vote on specific items that really affect the entire community, and somewhat that the city becomes the sponsor of those type of events. And again, I'm not trying to get around the system or any way, but there's certain events that in my mind I would deem as beneficial to the entire community, and would hope that the city would be on board, and maybe thankfully somebody that steps forward, the Downtown Merchant Association steps forward to sponsor that event and take care of it. But we feel that it's of significance enough that the city really wants to sponsor it, and they step forward and hopefully do it for us. A 4th of July parade, these significant type events that bring our community together, that are positive. And I know I'm on thin ice because virtually all of your events, we could make an argument in one way, shape, or form that it's of great benefit to the community. Because they are, like you said, every event is positive for Douglas. So I'm trying to limit it to be very specific about certain areas. Again, like a 4th of July parade, a Veterans Day parade, those type of things that, like it would be nice someday if somebody put on our fireworks for us. But of course, us being the major sponsor in that type of thing. And so when that happens, when we get the community more involved, then there's more ownership and there's more feeling of pride and belonging to this great community that we live in. And so I don't know how that can be done. I just throw that out there. Maybe you can come back with some ideas at a future meeting to help so that we promote our community to the highest level.
Thank you, Councilmember Hewish. We'll take those suggestions back to the team and we'll have some further discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Grauman.
May I make a comment?
Yes, Mr. Grauman.
I like Mr. Hewish's, Councilmember Hewish's idea, but for me, it would make more sense instead of giving special waivers or exceptions to a group. You mentioned the Veterans Day parade. It would instead of waiving that fee for them, I think it would probably be easier if the city would do it, because then it doesn't fall under that special event, category for someone to apply for them because it's already a city event.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. That those things are significant enough that the city should be the lead sponsor on those items.
We can look into that, on a policy perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 7. Oops, we're on 8. Persons wishing to address the council in writing and verbally on any item not on the agenda. Before we go into our speakers, rules of conduct will be followed by all call to the public speakers. Each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. We will let you know when there are 30 seconds left to speak. I ask all speakers to observe rules of decorum and good conduct. I will not allow any speaker to make personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks. I ask the audience to observe the same rules of decorum and good conduct, and no person shall interrupt the legislative proceedings. Do we have any speakers tonight? Thank you. Dr. Gomez?
Can everybody hear me back there? I just want to give a report. Red Cross wanted to get some smoke alarms here in Douglas, and they got a hold of Freeport McMoran, and they said, how can we get it started? And they said, get a hold of Rotary. To date, we have installed 243 smoke alarms, and we've had volunteers. We had the stores, we had Richard Ross and his firefighters, and we had other people, but we got all those together. 243 that makes the city safer. No one from the city representative put it on the Facebook. We're going to have a meeting. Nobody showed up. What brings our community together when we make it safe? And then we, on the meeting of the school board on the first Tuesday of December, we're going to give 4 awards to the RILA leadership awards. What these guys do that we give the awards, they go to all expenses paid to Prescott. They're not allowed any kind of phones or anything. They have to stay there, and when they come back, they are a different person. It gives them self-esteem, self-confidence, and I'm going to bring them here. So they'll come back when they give a presentation, because the mother said, I didn't recognize my daughter when she came back. And I'll tell you, some of these kids that have gone up there are doing very, very well, because they can go off. One of them just went to, he's in finance and went to ask for internship with Merrill Lynch in New York, and he was given a flight, hotel room, and 2 interviews. I'll tell you something happened. He's one of our bridal students, and so it has been a very successful team. That's what Rotary does for this community. As I look around, we need more members, and I see a lot of potential members back here. There's no reason to give back to the community. On October 3rd,
32nd Street meeting?
October 3rd, shut me up, I don't care. On October 3rd, we gave 90 kids a free flight in an airplane. We had to shut it down because we didn't realize that the runways were not safe till 2 days before, and Cochise College is sick. We can't participate, we can't get it all together, so we had to cut it off at a little above 90 free flights to the kids, and it was mobbed.
Mr. Mayor, for temper time?
And there was no city representation.
Thank you very much. Please extend our gratitude to the Rotary Club members for all your good work. I appreciate that. Thank you. Item number 9, discussion of decision on approval of consent agenda items. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion that Mayor and Council approve consent agenda items as follows. Expenditures for the month of September totaling $1,725,758.13. Expenditures for the month of October 2019 totaling $2,207,238.68. And meeting minutes for September 10th and 11th, 2019, and October 15th, 2019.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Councilman Soto. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Temper?
Yes. Motion passes. If there is no objection from the council, I would like to bring item 15 next, as our presenter, Ms. Montoya, needs to be excused early. Is there any comments there? Okay, we'll have item 15 then. Discussion and decision on approval of resolution number 19-1376, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, ratifying the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and the state of Arizona, acting by and through its Department of Administration for repairing and replacing the uninterrupted power supply UPS located in the city-owned building in Douglas, Arizona. Ms. Montoya.
Okay, just to put it simply, good evening, Mayor and Council. This ISA, this intergovernmental agreement, is really in place just to ratify the acceptance of grant funding from the Arizona Department of Administration Energy Efficiency Program. So about a month ago, or a little over a month ago, that UPS system went down at ACT Call Center, and as you know, it does operate in a city-owned facility. So as their landlord, we are responsible for replacing that system, which is really important to their operations there. They need it for whenever there's a power outage. So we reached out to the Department of Administration, and they are willing to to award us grant funding of up to $41,000 for that repair. So I believe our most recent quote for that repair was $38,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The original quote was around $38,000. We still haven't fully repaired the system, so those costs may be higher. We need to purchase additional batteries that were damaged as well. So we're starting at 38. We're probably looking at $15,000 more. So hopefully this grant will cover that cost as well.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1376.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? I had a question, and Mr. Pedrosa, you already answered that, but I was going to say, if 38 and the grant is 41, how are we going to be able to cover everything?
We may not, but that's fully the city's obligation to provide that UPS system. But I think it's better than providing the full cost of the entire project. So certainly, I mean, either way, we're gaining from this grant.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other discussion?
Just what fund will the difference come from?
The general fund?
General fund?
Roll call?
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Montoya. Okay, we're back to item number 10. Discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1113, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending the city personnel rules and regulations adopted pursuant to ordinance 684 and amended by ordinances 97-712, 99-749, 00-716, 03-846, 07-909, 08-944, 14-1045, and 17-679. Establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Who is presenting this for consideration? Oh, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. As we have seen in the last 2 months, we have done revisions to the personnel rules and regulations. We have about 13 areas that we are addressing that range from requirements by state law that we had to change to simple changes like removing the secretary to assistant. But what we wanted to make sure that you guys do is that we talk to the employee group and all of these recommendations come from them. They agree with them and also the person on their board. And they review these recommendations and also making those changes or recommending for you to be approved as well.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Yush.
Move that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1113 by number and title only.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yush, second by Ms. Morales. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Grijalva.
I'd like to make an amendment. And this is thinking of our backbone, our employees. I move to amend the personnel rules to include a donation of leave bank to be used by those employees eligible for donation of leave as an additional component to the current donation of leave structure. This bank is to be initiated and maintained with the number of vacation hours employees are not able to carry over from one calendar year to the other due to the maximum carryover amount.
Okay, is there a second? Hearing none, the amendment proposal dies. Roll call?
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
No.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes. Motion passes.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending the city personnel rules and regulations adopted pursuant to ordinance 684 and amended by ordinances 97-712, 99-749, 00-786, 03-846, 07-909, 08-944, 14-1045, and 17-1079, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item 11, discussion decision on approval of second reading of ordinance number 19-1114, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land located in the 900 block of Second Street, lots 9 and 10 within parcel number 409-14-93C to Joseph L. Garcia and Maria de la Luz Garcia, husband and wife, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve the second reading of ordinance number 19-1114 and to place it on third reading by number and title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes.
In order for the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land located on the 900 block of Second Street, lots 9 and 10 within parcel number 409-14-93C as Charlie to Joseph L. Garcia and Maria de la Luz Garcia, husband and wife, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item 12. Motion passes. Excuse me. Item 12, discussion decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 19-1115, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending ordinances 718, 837, 10-97, 19-1109, adjusting fees for the visitor center facility and programs in order to recover operating costs, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof.
Yes, Mayor and Council, if you recall, in September we passed the third reading of revisions to Title 12, which were centered around restructuring of the fees. We found out that by mistake, we inadvertently removed the room fee for the visitor center, therefore inadvertently decreasing the fees as opposed to our intention was to slightly increase those fees. So we ended up decreasing them due to the language that we had removed. We tried to combine everything, the room fee, into one whole fee, but just the way that we structured the language was not correct, therefore we actually ended up decreasing it. This is an ordinance to go ahead and fix that. What the ordinance would do from the original fees is to increase the room fee by $15 per room. And when we say per room, the visitor center can be divided into two sections, so each room has its own fee. That you can ask for the entire full room or half of the visitor center room. So there's different fee structure around that. We're also recommending the exemption of the use of nonprofits. However, obviously, they would need to pay the cleaning fee for whatever they use it for. If they bring food or no food, there still needs to be a cleaning involved. So we are waiving the the room fee. And also the increase of the use of the kitchen from $100 to $120. Those are the changes that we are proposing with this ordinance.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Yurich.
move that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 19-1115 on its first reading by number and title only.
And second.
Second by, Ms. Morales, motion by Mr. Yurich. Any further discussion? Mr. Yurich.
It's going an hour after the next one, but I'll do it now. Do we have set up a program at all that we set aside part of these funds towards a capital improvement of the building, replacing the carpet, those kind of things, or is it just thrown into the general fund and then when those items are needed, they come out of the general fund?
Yeah, Mr. Hewish, that's something we are slowly trying to establish by increasing this fee. We have not been doing that. It's just been going towards the operational cost of the visitor center. The fees have not been enough to sustain a capital improvement plan. But with more use and fees being increased, we can start doing that. This year, actually, in the CIP, we approved the addition of 80 chairs and 8 tables. So we will be getting those new pieces in there very soon. Actually, the tables arrived today. We through the capital improvement program, but not through this fee precisely.
I would just strongly urge that if somehow to try to maintain it as similar to an enterprise fund as feasible.
As we can.
Right. Obviously, it benefits the community, and therefore we want to turn on the lights and make sure it's available.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Potemper?
Yes. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Yurich.
I move that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 19-1115 and to place it on second reading by number and title only.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Potemper?
Yes. Motion carries.
In order to the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending ordinances 718, 837, and 10-987, and 19-1109, adjusting fees for the visitor center facility and programs in order to recover operating costs, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item 13. Discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1374, the resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget for the city of Douglas. Mr. Mendoza.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. This is a housekeeping item. We are proposing a budget amendment within the same fund. So therefore, we're just transferring from one department within the general fund to another. With the planner position, the way it got approved in the budget was under the administration department. So we created the development services division now, and that planner needs to be under that division. So basically all we're doing is transferring that salary from administration over to planner so that the expenses are shown in the correct division. And same thing goes for the code enforcement officer and the building inspector. They were budgeted actually under public works administration, and they need to be transferred under development services. So that money also needs to be reflected in the correct division. And finally, the deputy city manager as well is under the administration department, but as it was voted in the budget, the economic development piece now falls under the deputy city manager. So all the remaining salaries that were budgeted in economic development need to go towards, deputy city manager, administration budget. So those numbers there are listed at $30,000 from economic development to administration, $52,707 from public works administration to development services, and $83,980 from administration to development services.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1374.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Morales. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, Mr. Pedrosa, just so everybody's clear, there's no increase to the budget in any way, shape, or form. There's no decrease in the budget in any way, shape, or form. It's just so that we can show more completely where exactly the area of the monies have been budgeted for and where they're being spent.
Yes, Councilmember Hughes, and more precisely, it's keeping to our policies that we actually have to transfer these funds to the correct division where the money is being expended. If we don't do it ourselves, our auditors will make us do it.
Right, and so to follow up with that, it's better to do it now so the public can see what's going on versus doing it as a result of an audit where it's all forgotten and I hate to say it, but who cares by that point? Because it's 18 months down the road.
That's correct.
So this will be able to, the public will be able to see exactly what's being spent in administration for this and for public works will be more accurate, et cetera, et cetera.
That is correct.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hughes?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Temper?
Yes. Motion carries. Item 14, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1375, the resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the state of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant fund application in the amount of $10,000 for the purchase of radar equipment under Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2017 reallocation grants program. Chief Bowen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. This item involves notification that we received back on October 21st from the Arizona Department of Homeland Security advising of the award for equipment funding under federal fiscal year 2017 Operation Stone Garden grant program reallocation. This additional funding will be utilized to purchase needed radar equipment for our department. As you know, we've been participating in this detail for a number of years now, and to date we have received all of our expenditures reimbursed in full. So we do ask that you consider approving this request.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Yoder.
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1375.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yoder, second by Mrs. Morales. Any further discussion?
I just have one. These work on all types of vehicles, right?
Yes. Really well.
Thank you.
It's just great to see you continue to get these grants. So keep up the great work. Yeah, it's great.
Roll call.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hughes?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Temper?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Where are we? 15? 16. 16, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1377, the resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting amendments to the city of Douglas financial management policy.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, We did a small update to our financial policies that we thought was important to be added there. We thought it was important to add that as we receive one-time revenue for property sale, is our most current example here, that one-time revenue needs to be utilized for a one-time purchase as well, or a capital purchase. That's important in not relying on those one-time revenues for operational costs and to cover our operations. So we thought that we put that into, even though we put that into practice, it was never embedded into our financial policies. So we thought it's important that we put that in there. As you can see, the policies were adopted in 2013, and obviously, you know, with any amendments, we'll be putting that date there when it gets amended. So that's a simple language change to reflect that new policy.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Yosh.
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1377.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hewitt, second by Mrs. Morales. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Yosh.
Just a clarification question, Mr. Pedrosa. Can you give us an example of how the process works? I know we're doing it now, but so everybody understands that we're just putting it down to hold us to those standards.
Yes, Mr. Hirsch, if you were to sell a property, you were to get, for example, $50,000, those proceeds will be earmarked specifically for a capital purchase of that equivalent, and will not be able to put into the operations budget. So basically, it's putting it into not in the general fund. It goes into the capital improvements fund, where it will be utilized for a need that the city may have.
And may I follow up? And who would determine that need?
The mayor and council can determine that need through the budget or through council action.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. Item 17, informational items and reports from council and future agenda item requests.
I don't have anything.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Grijalva.
I just wanted to let our constituents and the public know that I'm going to wait on my report from the Port of Entry because my colleagues, Councilmember Shelton and Councilmember Morales, will be going next week to tour the Port of Entry in San Isidro, so I think it'd be best for all of us to have a report on the Port of Entry at the same time. But as a last comment, I wanted to congratulate our employees on their raises, or their well-deserved raises this month. I just want to thank them for their hard work.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Morales, second by Mr. Soto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.